Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Faye Fitness. Today we are going to continue with our Kickboxing Basics series, and I'm going to teach you part 1 of our Roundhouse kicks. So today we're going to start with the number 10, which is our right leg, and I'm going to show you the basic version of this kick, and then next week I'll show you the advanced version of this kick. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, stay tuned. So much for tuning in today, guys. Like I said in the intro, this is going to be our very basic roundhouse kick. We're going to do our number 10 kick, which is our right leg, and then next week I'll show you the advanced version of that, where it's kind of putting some more pieces together. The reason I'm breaking this up into a basic and advanced is because there's a lot of things going on in junction when you're doing a roundhouse kick that, if you don't have proper form, could leave you open and more vulnerable to a counterattack if you're not protecting yourself appropriately. And if you don't have proper form, it could actually cause some injury. So the first thing that we want to talk about when we're doing a roundhouse kick is where you should be making impact. And what I see a lot of people doing, especially people that are learning this for the first time, is when they come up and kick, they are actually making contact with the top of their foot. That is a huge no-no. Do not do that. That's how you break your foot, you damage your ankle, and just it leads to all kinds of terrible things that are really going to hurt. So the thing you want to think about doing is making contact with this part of your shin. It can be really anywhere you want. Try to stay away from the knee and kneecap itself, and try to stay away from the ankle. So you have a lot of real estate in here that you can use. And that's going to be the same for your 9 kick, which is your left roundhouse kick. So just imagine hitting your opponent with this part of your shin. And where you should be aiming at is your opponent's thigh or their abdominal cavity. Some people are really great with roundhouse kicks and can kick someone in the head. We're not going there today. Today we're just going to be focusing on kicking someone in the thigh or the abdominal cavity, because these are the 2 easiest places. If you are doing Muay Thai kickboxing and you're doing any kind of competitive sport, always remember the groin area is off limits. However, if you are walking home one night and someone is coming at you and being really aggressive and threatening you and you're fearing for your safety, this area is on the menu. So kick them there too. So what we'll do for this kick is to get in our fighting stance. So hands up by the face, left foot forward, right foot back. We're at this nice sheer 45-degree angle. And then we want to lead with our hip bone. So rather than leading with like your knee or your shoulder or something like that, you really want to thrust, which I know is poor word choice, but you really want to push this hip up and forward and then let the leg follow suit. So that's going to look something like this. When you push up, and then you're going to kind of naturally lean back. When we push our hip forward, the leg is going to naturally follow suit. So that's going to look something like this. When you're when you're in your normal stance, you're going to thrust forward, come up, and the leg comes up as well. What's happening to my left foot that you can't see is the foot is being toes forward, and then as soon as I get to about here, my foot goes sideways so that it's parallel to my opponent. And I can insert some footage of what my feet are doing here in a moment. But for now, let's just focus on the basics of getting the right leg off the ground. That right leg off the ground, we're gonna combine everything that we've been working on thus far. We're gonna move the hip first, follow it with the leg, and then try to aim to hit our opponent in this nice shin area. So it's just gonna come up, out, and over. And notice how my body is changing as I'm going through the motions of this kick. If I'm not kicking and then coming back straight forward, when I'm kicking, my whole body is moving sideways here. So everything's getting engaged with this. And again, don't worry about trying to do it all at once. Let's just focus on the actual kick itself in our lower body, and then next week we can start incorporating in the upper body what we're doing with our hands, our arms, our shoulders, our back. So Don't worry about all that for right now. Just try to get up and over. And when you're in this sideways position, this is when you make your contact either with someone's thigh or their abdominal cavity, or if you're really good, their head. If you're just practicing this and learning it for the first time, imagine that you're hitting an opponent the same height and size as you. It just makes it a lot easier to practice. So come up, over, and down. And I'll do this from this angle so you can kind of get a good idea of what's going on from multiple angles. So come up, over, and down. The other thing you want to think about when doing this kick is you don't want to come up, over, and then lean forward to where you're leaning all your body weight into your opponent. That's going to put you severely off balance and cause issues if this were an actual sparring match or a street fight. So instead, what you want to do is use this part of your shin to shove your opponent. Kind of like what we did with the rear lead kicks. I'll demonstrate that for you. So I'm going to push and then come down. So what you're going to do is kick and come down, but my weight is pretty evenly distributed. I haven't leaned all the way forward on this leg and put myself at a disadvantage, and I'm not so far back that there's no weight on this right leg at all. So it's pretty evenly distributed. I'd say 60-40, 60 on the right leg, 40 on the left leg. If that number and weight distribution helps you kind of visualize what we're doing. So we're gonna come up, over, tap, so just kind of shove, and then come down. And again, let me show you from this angle what we're gonna be doing. Come up, over, down. All right, and then once more from this angle, up, over, down. So it's a really enjoyable kick once you get the hang of it. So I'll just demonstrate a few more times, that way you can kind of see how it works. So fighting stance, we're good to go. Over, down. Over, down. So as promised, here is some footage of what my feet are doing during a number 10 roundhouse kick. So I'm in my fighting stance, left leg forward, right leg back. My toes are facing my opponent, and then I'm going to engage in the kick, and look what happens to my left foot. So it turns sideways. So it goes from straight to a nice angle there. Okay, kick and then down. All right, so if you have any questions about that, please leave them in the comments down below and I will answer them as best I can. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate your support and feedback on these videos. If you liked what you saw today, please like and subscribe down below. And check back next week where we talk about the advanced number 10 kicks.